What's up, guys? It is part 2 of my FantasyAthon. Wow. It is part 2 of my FantasyAthon vlog. It is Wednesday. We are just at about 12:40 in the afternoon. So I have some updates for you. I just made lunch. I'm letting it cool. So let's talk books. First and foremost, let's talk about Supernova by Marissa Meyer because I am close to finishing it. If I don't finish it today, then I'll definitely finish it tomorrow. And I have an idea of what audiobook I will pick up after that. I doubt I'll get through an entire third audiobook, but you never know. I do have plans this weekend. My best friend, who I haven't seen since midsummer when she had her first baby, we're getting brunch. So Sunday will be a relatively busy day because that will probably span over my son's nap, which is like my prime reading time, aka right now. Supernova. I'm loving it. I'm also, as I said in my first vlog, which is uploading right now, hardcore PMSing, so I have been like tearing up and choking up over so many different scenes in this book, and I can't tell you a lot of what's happening because it's the third in a series, so there's a lot of build up to this, and anything I say could give things away, so I'm going to try and be very vague here, but Marissa Meyer is not holding back on characters, and there is an entire plot line where there's a very questionable thing that the good guys have invented. And I was afraid the whole time that the backfire of this questionable thing wouldn't happen. I feel like sometimes in Marissa Meyer's books, I don't want to say convenient things happen, but like, I remember when she was writing Supernova and she put on Instagram, I want to say, that she went and did one of those like, I can't remember the name of them, but it's like when you go in like water and it's dark and you have to, what is it called? I keep wanting to call it like echo chamber, but that's not right. You know what I'm talking about? Like a deprivation tank. And she did that and figured out like a plot hole she had. And I'm wondering if this had to do with it because I was afraid it would go in one direction and instead she's doing the direction that I think should be the path that it takes. That's as like much as I can give you and be vague at the same time for anyone who has not read this series. My watch thought I was talking to it and it shut off my recording. Okay, so anyway, so that's my update on Supernova. I won't give you more than that. I am still slowly making my way through the Starless Sea. I'm on page 350. It's like 480 something pages. I'm still really enjoying it and I'm really liking the direction it's going, but I'm having trouble focusing on it, especially like I do a chunk of my reading in the morning, my physical reading, because I have my coffee and the kids are like quiet and distracted and I let them watch TV because they wake up so early. Like they don't get on their bus till 8 and they wake up at like 5:36 every day. So like that's 2.5 hours to kill. I'm hurting my shoulder sitting like that. So it's hard to focus because there's a lot of things happening. And if you like miss some of it, I feel like you're missing a lot of it. So still loving it though. And I'm ready to finish it. So there's that. And then last but not least, I'm reading Trail of Lightning by Rebecca. That's not her name, is it? I can't remember her name right now. Anyway, I'm probably like 30% of the way through it and might be my favorite book right now as from all of the ones that I'm reading, including the Starless Sea. I'm just really enjoying like the mythology behind it and the interactions that the main character's having. It's not just humans, there's also parts of their like mythological gods can take human form. And there's a lot of questions that are unanswered already, and I really like the relationship forming. I mentioned in a previous clip in the first vlog section that it was like it might be an enemies to lovers type thing, but they're not really enemies. It's just they're very different people, and she's kind of snappy and independent, and I don't know, he's got a lot of secrets, I think, and she recognizes that. So I think there's gonna be like a long slow burn, I guess, with that. And I'm not sure if the second book is out yet, but I will definitely have to get it if it is. That's my update. I'm gonna go eat food and I will check in with you guys when I have more to say. Okay, bye. your gingerbread man. Can't see myself. I cannot see myself, so hopefully the angle's okay. I'm dropping my daughter's library books off at her school because it's her library day and we left them at home and I feel bad. Luckily my husband has today off, so I have the car. I'm gonna do that, and then I gotta run to Barnes & Noble and I might get myself a coffee while I'm there, so we'll see. I'm so close to Supernova. I've got like half an hour of the audio book left, and I'm on like 415 in the Starless Sea of like 490, so we're close to that as well, and I'll give you updates later. Okay, bye. I'm in my bathroom right now, hiding out because I do not feel good. What else is new? But I wanted to update. I've got book updates, but I'll do them later if I start to feel better. But I did open a package yesterday, and then it was like dark and I didn't want to film. And then today I've been running around. I'll explain more about that later, but I did get a package from one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. And if you know me, you know her, but I have been looking forward to this manga forever, and my dear, dear beloved, one of my favorite people in the world, I'll say it again, Chelsea got this for me for Christmas. I love her so much. Obviously I'll have her link down below, but again, if you know her, you know me, and vice versa. If you know me, you know her is what I mean to say. Can't wait to read this. As soon as FantasyAthon is over, I will be reading it. It will come immediately, prioritized on Monday. And I can't wait. It's a manga that I actually, because of Chelsea, put it on my wish list because she liked it so much. And it'll make a great it will make a great addition to my manga collection. I can't think right now because my stomach is literally just doing somersaults. I'm gonna try and take a bath and see if it'll help calm it. We'll see, I don't know. All right, that's my check-in. That's what I get for drinking caffeine only until 1 p.m. and running a bunch of errands and stuff. I'm never this out of breath. That's how sick I feel. All right, okay, bye. What's up? I'm feeling a little bit better right now. We'll see how the day goes because it tends to get worse at night, but I have a lot of updates because I've read quite a bit since I last truly updated you. But first, I did get a gift today. It is from the lovely Madison. I will link her down below if you haven't checked her out. Madison is such a gem. She recommends more books than anyone else I know that are unheard of, books that range from YA to adult to fantasy, contemporary. She reads a ton of various genres and like always books that I've never even heard of on her lists. And so I end up putting things on my TBR, and I always commend her for that because I think in Booktube we get very caught up in reading like the very hyped books. So if you want recommendations for books that you probably haven't heard of in the Booktube community, I highly recommend checking Madison out. She's such a sweet person, and if you're not subscribed to her, please go do so down below. Thank you again, Madison. She got me a book about Korean. I've been trying to learn it. I like know the alphabet and I know some very, very basic conversational things. Like think when you're like a year and a half old and you're learning your native language. I'm at that level. So this is great. I put a few of these on my bookish wish list because I do really want to focus in 2020 on learning more. I do listen to enough K-pop and I do watch K-dramas that like, you'd think at this point my brain would pick up on it, but it hasn't. So I really need to like focus harder on studying, and this is gonna be perfect. So thank you so much, Madison. You are a real gem, and I'm so glad we're friends. That's it. Let's talk about books because I don't think I've updated you on Supernova, which I did finish, and I finished The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So let's talk first about Supernova. I'm trying to remember if I talked about it, but I don't know. If I didn't, Supernova ended really well. I can't believe there's not gonna be any more Adrian and Nova. It's crazy to think that this trilogy is over for me, even though I put it off for like an entire year to finish. But I'm so glad I did. And I'm like wondering if there's gonna be spin-offs kind of the way that Marissa did with the Lunar Chronicles, where we had Wired Nerves, the graphic novels. I was trying to check on my baby, he's like hiding. I really liked how this wrapped up. If you saw the clip, it made me cry a couple times yesterday when I was listening to the audiobook. I've been very weepy lately. I cried this morning listening to a different book, but I'll talk about that later. And I really enjoyed the ending. It's another 4-star. The whole series was a very solid 4 stars. It just wasn't, It didn't have that oomph that like I look for in a 5-star book, but really that's about it. It was well written. I think the story came together nicely. She just posted actually on Instagram yesterday or this morning about how hard this trilogy was for her to complete, with like the plot lines, and it was a very bumpy road, I believe is what she said. And I think she pulled it together really well. So if you haven't finished these, I really do recommend it. Supernova is probably my favorite of the series, as well as Renegades. Arch Enemies was good, and it did set up a lot of the question of morality and which side, the Renegades or the Anarchists, was actually the good side or the bad side, and the gray area there. And it definitely set up very well to get those questions answered in Supernova. So this morning, my son woke up at 4:30 again. You'd think I'd get used to it, but it never gets easier to wake up before human beings should actually be awake, unless you're going to work and getting paid. I finished The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. So yesterday I brought this with me to Barnes & Noble in order to read and have a drink, another chestnut praline latte, I blame you, Chelsea. And I read a chapter and I just wasn't feeling it. So here's my thing. The beginning was so good. I was so invested. I really, really loved if you watched my vlog last week, you already know, so I won't go further into it. Then I got to a point where I felt like it was meandering too much. It got a little slow, it got a little redundant, it drug out longer than necessary, especially how it ended. I think that it really solidified my opinion that this could have been, I wouldn't say significantly shorter, but at least 50 pages shorter, and had a greater impact on me emotionally. I didn't react to anything that happened in the end of this book whatsoever. And for me, a book that I start out absolutely loving and thinking about often, I really hope it carries through, and I end it on an emotional note. I don't have to cry. I don't have to like react in a negative emotion. I just my heart needs to be in it. And by page 300, I was getting bored. I think a lot of people say that about the Night Circus, and I didn't experience that with the Night Circus, so I can't compare the two. But I gave it a 4-star. It was very beautifully written. I liked the storyline. It was very unique and creative in that sense. But I also think that it went on long enough that it kind of lost the point and the meaning. And it would have had a much more significant meaning if it had just been a little more condensed. But I really do recommend it. I love Erin Morgenstern's writing. You're not missing out by reading it. Like, I don't know. I guess I was just more disappointed with it than I thought I would be. But it's done. So that concludes between Arch Enemies and Supernova and The Starless Sea. I have officially completed the books that I wanted to finish before the end of 2020, at least my like end of year book tag options. I need to go back and see. I think I did a video earlier in the year of books I wanted to read before the end of the year. I can't really remember. But if that's the case, I'm probably like nowhere near reading those. So I'd like to see, and maybe I'll get back to you in this vlog and let you know. But I'm still proud that I got those 3 books done for this readathon so far. I'm still reading The Trail of Lightning. I am absolutely loving it, and that's what I'm going to focus on from this point out, physically reading, because I'd like to finish it before the end of the readathon. I am between 1/3 and 40% through the book so far, and I really, really, really like it. I like the main character and her struggles, and I like the relationship she's growing with her new like sidekick guy. There may not be a romance like I keep talking about, like alluding to, and there may be, I don't know. She still has feelings for someone from her past, complicates things. But I read a scene where she's on friendly terms with Coyote, like think a Navajo coyote mythological creature. So he comes, and when he comes to her, he comes in a human form, but like the cool part about him, about the character and how it's written specifically, is that he looks human, but at the same time, if you look too hard or too long, you catch glimpses of like his true self, and it like weirds humans out. Really enjoying it. Can't wait to update you further on that. But because I needed a new audiobook, why don't you come over here? I started this morning Criers War by Nina Varela. And I am, well, Scrib says I'm on chapter 9. As I was closing, like ending chapter 8, the narrator said 7. So I don't really know. If I'm on chapter 9, I'm this far in. If I'm on chapter 7, I'm a little bit earlier than that. But I'm moving at a pretty quick pace. It's a 13+ hour audiobook. I don't know how much I listened to this morning, but I did like a ton of chores, like folding laundry and dishes. And because I was so sick last night, I always fall behind when that happens. So I tried to like catch up this morning while listening to the audiobook. This is a story about a world where humans created these AIs basically to be like their slaves, and the AIs rebelled. And this is 40 years after the rebellion, where the AIs are, they're not specifically called AIs, it's just the easiest way for me to describe them right now. They're called Autome. They are now in power and the humans are their slaves. And it's dual perspective, so you're seeing it from the perspective of Crier, who is the Autome that is like the princess, and another girl named Ayla, who is a human. You're seeing it from both their perspectives. And I'm at I've already gone past this point, but somewhere in the early pages, the two interact, and Crier has learned information about herself that might be bad for her in her position of power. And Ayla sees her cry, which is something that Autome shouldn't be able to do, if I'm not mistaken. So in order to like keep a close eye on Ayla, Crier has now asked her to be her like specific handmaid, and they're like drawing closer. I know that this has queer rap, and I think it's that these two women fall in love over time, this like AI and this human, but it also has a lot to do obviously with war. Her dad is, the foreshadowing is that her dad is like not a good person, nor is the man she is engaged to. So that's the insinuation. You don't really know much more than that, but I would assume that she's gonna kind of uprise with the help of humans. I don't know, that's my guess, but I'm loving it. I love the cover of this. I've heard good things, so far, so good. The chapters are long, so I'm glad I'm listening to it in audiobook. That said, there are, because I'm done with my physical book, aside from reading my ebook of Trail of Lightning, I'm gonna throw in a couple manga. I started this before the FantasyAthon, so I don't have much left. I might read this while my son naps in a little while, but I'm gonna start wrapping all my kids' gifts because I want to take like inventory of everything and make sure we're good for Christmas. So I'm gonna do that while he naps, and probably, I might listen to Criers War, but I might just relax and watch like a Christmas movie. I kind of want to watch that Seth Rogen, Joseph, is it Joseph Gordon-Levitt? I can't remember, but like they did that comedy a couple years ago. And then if I finish Fruits Basket, which is likely, I will read the next installation of Princess Jellyfish, which is volume 5. I started this very, very minimally, like weeks and weeks ago. So it'd be nice to get, this isn't really fantasy though, is it? We'll see what happens. So that's my update. That's a lot of stuff. I'm reading a lot. I checked my Goodreads goal. My yearly goal had been 100 books, and I think I'm at like 158 right now, 159 if I include the Starless C in that. So clipping along. I need to go make lunch. I'm starving. So we can eat before I put him down for a nap, and then I'll wrap some presents, and I will update you when I have more to update. Thanks again, Madison. I will see you guys in the next clip. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? It's been a while since I've done an update. I think my last update was maybe Friday. It is now midday Sunday, 4:15 on Sunday. So I think at this point I can call FantasyAthon and just go over what I've read. I killed my TBR. Killed it, nailed it, even went further than that. So first I want to say how lucky I am. to have started Booktube. Like, thank you to Past Me for just diving in, because I've met some like incredible people. I made some really great friends, and this is all to say that I got another package yesterday, and Kayla over at On the Fritz sent me the Woods Yearbook Edition of Volume 1. I have read the first volume of this a year ago, I want to say, and I loved it so much, but my library does not have the rest of it, and I'd have to do like the interlibrary loans, and I just haven't gotten around to it. And this is on my wish list because I really liked the first volume, the first 4 issues, and this is the first 12, so I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm probably going to read it before the end of the year, because now that I have it, as well as my husband's brother, my brother's husband, quick reads to up my Goodreads goal, etc., even though I'm well past it. But anyway, thank you, Kayla. If you're not subscribed to her, I will have her link down below. She is a gem. If you like me, I can't imagine you wouldn't like her. Go ahead and check her out. Thank you again, Kayla. You're the best. Kayla was one of my first friends that I made on Booktube, so she means the world to me. Thank you again. And let's get into what I have finished. Well, actually, before that, let's start with what I am still currently reading, which was my like throw this on the pile because I finished my 2 audiobooks and need a new thing to listen to. And Criers War by Nina Valera was on Scribd, so I grabbed it because this is a Owl Crate edition, and my goal in November had been to read all of my, not all, but as many of my book box subscription books as I could, so Book of the Month and Owl Crate. I've since ceased my Owl Crate subscription, but I had a backlog of like 5 books, and now I'm down to 3, maybe six books. Now I'm down to 3, including this one as one of my red ones. Anyway, I have this much left, so not a whole lot. I am really liking it a lot. It's gonna be either a very strong 4-star or a 5-star. We'll see how it ends, but I told you the synopsis the other day when I updated, so I won't get into it again, but I've got probably 4 hours left on the audiobook, which means 2 hours, which means that I could get it done by the end of today, but I'm not going to do an update after this, so you won't know. But I'll definitely have it done for my December wrap-up, so you'll have to hear about it then. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow. No big deal. It's going to be a busy week, so I probably won't read a whole lot, you know? Switching arms. Oh my gosh. You think all the working out I do, I'd be able to hold my phone longer. Nope. I also finished this morning Fruits Baskets volume, I always say Fruits Baskets. Fruits Basket volume 2. This is the collector's edition, so it's a lot of volumes bind up. I read the first volume a while ago and I loved it so much. And then I read this one and I didn't like it nearly as much. I think there's just too much going on at once, too much to focus on, like too many character side stories, and I just wasn't invested. It felt like a chore to read it. I don't know if I'll finish in the go on in the series. I feel like it's a very beloved series by people who read manga, so I don't know. If you've read Fruits Basket before and you think I should carry on, that it might like strike my fancy at some point, let me know down below. But as of right now, I'm not rushing to finish it. But this was one that wasn't on my TBR and I read it, so there we go. I also finished Trail of Lightning this morning, and I cannot, like, I think I'm gonna immediately either get or see if I can find an ebook copy of Storm of Locusts, which is the second book by Rebecca Roanhorse, because I loved it so much. It's my favorite book of the readathon. It's mentioned many times, so I won't get too far into the synopsis, but it's like a Navajo folklore inspired fantasy novel about a girl who's a monster hunter and another guy who's like a medicine dream doctor type thing. And I just, like, it read so fast. I couldn't believe it was over. I don't know if physically it's a small book. I can't remember because I don't physically own it, but it was so action-packed and it moved so quickly that it didn't feel like a chore reading it. And I felt like there was always something happening and I was always interested and I was always surprised right before like reveals. Like it hit me and I was like, oh my God, this is what's gonna happen. And then it would happen. And I just really loved it. And I feel like it's very underrated. This was the book I read for reading a host's favorite. And this is Maddie over at Maddie the Book Pusher's channel. It's one of her favorites on the list, and she was the reason that I initially looked into the book in the first place. So a new favorite for me as well. I feel like when it comes to Maddie's taste in diverse fantasy were on the a very similar page, like the where is it? That's the wrong shelf. City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper are books I read because of Maddie as well, and they're some of my favorite books. So yeah, that's my only 5-star read of the readathon. Criers War might end up being one as well, but we'll see. Starless Sea, I read for like Hype Train Fantasy. I don't remember all the prompts, and I don't have my notebook with me, but I did complete all the prompts except the group book because I didn't want to find and read Winterwood by Sharon Shaw because The Wicked Deep was pretty good, but not enough for me to immediately get a second novel, and the reviews I've seen come in are a lot of 3 stars, so I think I made the right decision with that. In any case, Starless Sea, 4-star, and then I'm not going to hold up both, but I read Supernova and Arch Enemies by Marissa Meyer, both 4-star reads. So overall, guys, I had an insanely good reading 10 days because it was a little bit longer than a week. And I got a lot of things checked off my list. So that's it. I am proud of myself. I'm probably going to listen to more of the audiobook and make some cookies. So you might see more footage. If so, we're going to insert that now, and then I'll skip ahead and do my outro. But it's gonna be a busy week, right? Okay, that's it for me. Like if you like this video, subscribe if you are new here and would like to see more content from me. I post all links to my social media down below. You can find me on Goodreads, Instagram, and Twitter. I hope you have enjoyed this FantasyAthon. Let me know down below if you participated, and if so, what was your favorite read of the readathon. And I don't know, my next video will be up before the end of the year, maybe? I don't know, we'll see. All right, guys, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays and Happy New Year, and thank you for watching. And if you're here and watching, I'm grateful for you, and I hope that the holidays are good to you, and I will see you in the next one, guys.